the nose. I could eat a buttered brick and eat stodgy food without the force. Then wife gives me a plate of couscous. I said, I'm sorry, love, I want a chippy tea. Chippy tea, chippy tea.
My name's Mike Collins. I run a hazardous waste disposal company with my wife Karen.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Age block tip?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Right. I'll let them know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I've always been interested in bikes, and I met this chap in the pub, Ian Harrison. I was invited to his house, but I was totally unprepared for what I saw.
Right, okay, this is one of the very last brackets that's going on the frame. Just going to mark it out where it's going to go. I started working at aerospace as an apprentice. I worked on the development of the fighter aircraft, the Tornado and the Eurofighter, which is now the Typhoon. We used to do crew escape systems, ejector seats. Building mock-ups, cockpits for the pilots to try and see the layout of them. Anything to do with the development of in-flight refuelling rigs to test them and see how they work. It was very handy that it led into I could make all my own motorcycle bits, because all the knowledge and wealth of the skilled men there, they were quite willing to help me learn parts of the trade that wasn't my job, and it was absolutely excellent. And then when I did leave work, I had the skills and resources to make my own motorcycles, or nearly all of it, bar the engine. And from there, it then led into running a race team, which has been very successful. I've been racing motorcycles since 1979, right through to 2012, which I suppose was a very long career. It's so exciting. There's the danger, the thrill, the speed, the adrenaline. It's the greatest thrill in the world, and this drives you on to keep going and going. And the hardest thing out of all of this is knowing when to stop. And when I did stop, I still wanted to be involved with the sport, so that was when the idea of creating this race team, and then I could use all my wealth of knowledge to carry on and help other people and still have the thrill of racing motorcycles. I've been running the race team now for, this will be the 5th year. We set off straight away, winning most of the races that we entered. Because of that and the success we had the top class riders from all around the country wanting to ride for us without even having to ask them. And then we was invited to the Isle of Man for the Classic TT, and then it's gone from strength to strength. To build these motorcycles, we have to build them to a certain specification for the race class. So we take a standard road bike, we then strip it completely, and then we modify the frame, the swinging arm, the forks, all the other parts on the bike to make it into a full-on Formula 1 superbike. To finance all this racing and make a living, I produce frames, swing arms, bodywork, petrol tanks, all sorts of bits and bobs, brackets that we use on our bikes. We sell these mainly to all our competitors. I think we supply nearly every machine on the grid, because ours do very well. They always come to us to have parts made for their machines. Other side of the team with the financing is product support. We have local businesses, and particularly Mike Collins of Collins Containers, a local firm. He's been very helpful in the last 3 years. It's people like this that keep people like me going, being able to go racing. Everybody who gets involved with us comes with us, and we all have a good time. It is so hard work, you've got to enjoy it. It doesn't seem like it sometimes. We all muck in and we all get a good result. and we all come home hopefully happy.
Turn right.
Really dry down through here from start finish. Obviously it's only still really wet up under the trees, but the 350 K4 Honda then allowed to use wet, that's why we still want to dry.
And to find the riders who want to ride the machine, we usually sit down, go through all the results from the Isle of Man, make a wish list, then we get in touch with the TT organisers, tell them what we want, and then they come back with some more suggestions. We have a chat about it. I'll ring the rider, put it to it, and 9 times out of 10, they jump at the chance. One of our first riders was Jamie Coward. He's a young lad from Hebden Bridge. I've seen him ride for a number of years and I've always been impressed with how it rides. And when we started this team, he was my number one choice. We offered him the ride and he jumped at the job, and he's been a godsend ever since. He rides the wheels off it, he's a joy to be around, and he's been with us 4 years now. I think through riding with us, it's helped him move on in his more modern racing on the TT side of it. He's just secured a really, really good ride for the TT. I think that's on the back of his success on our machines.
Ready to Morbius, the island, I'm sure. 19, let's
That's the old touring
From 1980 to 1993, virtually without a break. Somebody else dropped there.
coming season, because you can't stand still, because all your other competitors are always moving on. This year you'll have a load of refinements to do, a few alterations, suggestions from the riders, and hopefully there'll be a better machine all round when we go back to the Isle of Man, and hopefully get a bike on the podium. The hardest part of all this now is not actually being able to race, because you can never replace that. And to be still involved, having all these motorcycles around you, it's very hard to stand there and watch them going round, wishing you could do it. But times move on, and you have to accept that you've had your time, and it's time for other people, and that is the hardest part of it all. The reason why you stop can be many reasons. The main one for most people is money, because it is so expensive. Your family go through a lot of hardship, mainly because you've spent all the money going racing. They have to be very understanding, or you can't do it. You cannot express how expensive it is. And then there's the time, the commitment, because you're in the garage all the time, every night, you're away every weekend, you're coming back late, and then you do it all again the next week. And then obviously there's all the injuries you collect over the years, you get worn down with them. Eventually it comes to where you have to make a decision that usually is forced upon you, where you have to stop. It's either the money or the injuries, or like me, you're getting too old. It made it even harder to stop, because the last 2 years I was racing, I won every race I started. And I thought that was a good time to bow out, because you're never going to top that. You're only going to start sliding back down again. But even at my age of, it would be 52 then, I was still winning races, beating lads 18, 19, 20. And I was very pleased with that. But I thought, this is a good time. I had to stop because of injuries catching up with me. My legs were playing up, I had trouble with my knees, my ankles. I was finding it hard to move about on the bike. I was finding it hard to walk, to be honest. I've had a load of surgery in the last 4 years, and it's only now that I've been able to start to walk with any ease. So for me, it was the injuries. I probably would have dragged it out a few more years if it wasn't for that. After all these years racing, which was many, all the injuries, which were very many, it was worth every single second of it, and I would never change it for anything in the world.